I feel like I've always had a very this is hard. Like it's hard. I'm gonna start again. Essentially, like I've posted a Thor Love and Thunder review. That was like the first video of this YouTube channel. And like for me, I've always like known like this is what I want to do. This is what I feel like a purpose or like just like a interest in doing. And it was only in the hesitation that I experienced. It was only in the hesitation I experienced in like actually doing a YouTube channel and how I wanted to do it that forced me to actually interrogate the concept of self-esteem and the way our community can hinder self-esteem. Environmental factors play a much larger role than the internal factors that affect your self-esteem and the way that you view yourself and the way and what you're capable of. And so what I actually wanted to do is like talk about all the other times I've started YouTube. And this is actually like my 5th time like sitting down and like starting YouTube. Again, and like I'm gonna be trying to be as coherent as possible. So like it's gonna feel like one big thought. I'm gonna like jump back to the point I was making and whatever. But like, I had to start with the Thor Love and Thunder review. I had to start with something. And it's always when you understand what you're capable of and what in essence you should be doing, sometimes if your esteem is not there, you just won't do it. You won't get up and do the things that you want to do. And it was only when discovering the impact of community on my esteem and how jaded sense of community had affected my self-esteem and the way I viewed myself and the way I viewed what I was capable of, it just changed my whole mindset. So with my first YouTube channel, this is something I just started in year 6. I was like a massive Pointless blog fan. And like I wanted to do like the same style of content. Like I was like, yeah, let me do that. And it was a bit of a meme. Like I remember like people would kind of take the piss and not take it seriously and not perceive as like a, I don't know, but for the stuff I was posting, I would say like my sense of self-esteem remained quite firm and strong. But the community wasn't there. So like I didn't feel supported or I had much belief that there was the belief I could feel that externally. Also, I think, so I'm just kind of throwing this in, another thing you have to think about and consider is the fact that you're coming to an online platform and the element of validation, which I didn't really discuss in this video, and then perhaps that's something to talk about. But validation, I just wanted to throw that word in there because I think that's important to bear in mind with what I'm saying. And that was the same thing with my second channel. So I had a second channel, which was called Saint Plays. And I like that time, so I'd moved away from like the vlog stuff and I went into more like gaming and then The Sims. And then again, like the sense of community wasn't there. And I guess like when you have low esteem and no sense of like affirming community, like it just breeds insecurity and I feel like that's a lot of the problems that we see like in this day and age. Like there's just insecurity. And like during this time, like that's when I kind of started to lean into or to tap into like social media and connecting with like-minded people, like-minded YouTubers, and building and creating some sense of community. And again, I was young, like I was like 11, 12. And had no business in navigating online spaces or online communities at that age. And like my videos were not good, like they weren't good. But I basically became like a troll. Like I would, oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking about this. Like, yeah, like I would troll. Like I would troll people in that same community. And I guess it was that insecurity and jealousy and seeing how others had a community of people that believed in them. And that's mad that I felt that way on an online space. But anyway, and I think it's also important to add context to why I transitioned from the second channel to the third channel, again, I just wasn't feeling that sense of validation, and then in avoidance to take accountability for like the troll stuff. That's why I'd say it moved over to the third channel. And then with my third channel, it was called Galaxy Simmer. And this was like the time in my life where I actually saw the benefits of like supportive community and having like the right people around you. I think I only reached like maybe 200 subscribers. But like this was something I was consistent with for like a year. And there's a bit more to this story, again, because of my troll past. But like I felt believed in, I felt, hence allowing me to have the self-esteem to fuel me to do the things that I wanted to do. And then that all like came tumbling down. Long story short, someone in the community I felt really connected to started being trolled. Like there was a troll, and then because of my troll past, like I was basically put in that category of framed as the troll in that situation. And I got cancelled, like I got dogpiled, and like what, like that was devastating. Like to find a space, an online space where you feel a sense of community, and for that to come tumbling down, like, and then to kind of have to go back to a like physical community where I'm not necessarily feeling that. And I think again, like it's like I was in secondary school at the time, and there's a lot I could say, but secondary school in essence is all about jaded community. So I think all like I think all the things that like a human being needs in order to be a functioning, healthy social creature, I have to be very lucky to find those in secondary school, if I'm being really, really honest. So I came with like a fourth YouTube channel, which was just, again, my name, and it was kind of more vlog style stuff. And it's mad that I'm actually like openly talking about this and actually reflecting on this. But like, I would do vlogs and stuff, and in some ways I felt that sense of belief, like, wow, like one of the most affirming experiences in my life was this trip I did to Russia. And those set of people, that was community. It felt like good, like it felt nice. Damn, like it felt nice. And I felt like affirmed. I felt like I could be who I could be myself, and like I was putting it online. But then again, because in secondary school and just in general life, because when you have such a big community and you don't feel that love consistently, like the channel kind of just fizzled out, because it was like a nice, like I would go on holiday and do vlogs, and then you come back to like the reality of things, and then you're kind of faced with yourself. And I feel like what's the word? Disclaimer. This self-reflection is only now. So like I'm saying all this stuff from my perspective now, but that like wasn't my perspective that then. So I wouldn't even have picked up on that stuff. So I could be doing like taking some creative license and liberties, but who cares? But again, as I've been reflecting on like self-belief and self-esteem, I've realized the need for community in order to build you up and feel like you within yourself can exist peacefully, and you can exist in harmony within yourself. Like, this is so stupid, but like I watched Minions Rise of Gru, like I'm not even trolling, and like I'm not being like like you see Gru in the Despicable Me movies and how he's just so like confident and like such a good villain or whatever, and he was able to do that, one, because he had the minions, like he just had people who believed in him. This is so stupid, but he had people who believed in him, And then like in the new film, he has like Wild Knuckles, who kind of steps in and as like this father figure to actually believe in him. Like it's all like, oh, like self-esteem and self-belief is created and nurtured within community. And like that's one of the things like I want to like unpack and discuss and talk about. Like again, this is very free flow, but just how to navigate community and how to navigate yourself and how to empower one another to believe deeply in community and to believe deeply in self. Like I've been reading this I read this book like over a year ago. Wow, wow. But one of the things like this book harps on about is basically needs and how we as a human society have become so disconnected from our personal needs and what we need as socially as humans. And I guess this is another thing to reflect on. Like we're in a capitalist environment which requires so much focus and energy on our material needs and our material needs and our need to survive, that like to think about this stuff, it can be a bit challenging. So I understand how we've got to this point. But basically talks about like it tries to reframe narcissism. I'm gonna put up like a good working definition of the word narcissism so we can kind of understand what I mean. But this book kind of details how narcissism is basically, let me see if I can pull it up. If gang pull up, are you gonna back your brethren? Yeah. But basically talks about like narcissistic deprivation. And it talks about like from birth, but like when a child's needs are not being met, they grow up to become someone who has narcissistic deficiency. So there's certain needs that they didn't get socially, emotionally, physically, whatever, spiritually, whatever, from their parents or the community around them that has helped nurture them. And like, for example, for example, the rhetoric of like children, like, and I think this is like, if you're brought up in like the African culture, this is something you might hear or have experienced, but like the whole thing of like children should be seen and not heard. It's this idea of children as just as like this vessel, not being given the opportunity from young to begin to know or be modeled on how to express themselves and actually have some sense of autonomy and agency. I'm gonna read directly from the book. The child thus becomes an instrument of the parent's will. Once this occurs, the child's true self is abandoned and a false self must be created. The false self is a cover-up for the being wounded suffered by one's true self. If I can't have my feelings, my needs, my thoughts, my wants, then something must be wrong with me. I must be flawed as a person. I am worthless of my parents' time and attention. I am worthless. This is internalized shame. And again, I don't want to get into this too deeply, but that's why like I have real problems with concepts like original sin, because they ingrain this mindset. But essentially, if we recognize that as human beings that like we are in some ways narcissistically deficient, how can we begin? Yes, we can be the ones to kind of break those generational curses or whatever in how we parent our kids, but also like within us, how do we come to a sense of fulfillment and how do we meet those desires? It's the way we navigate our community, whether this is physical, whether it's digital. And as we start to interrogate our desires and what we believe ourselves to be deserving of, we then have to start communicating that healthily to those around us and not vilify what those narcissistic needs will manifest or what will look like. Like, I remember I think our society has like this thing, a stigma against people who attention seek or people who seek attention. And I think there's different ways that people who attend, quote unquote, attention seekers go about in seeking the attention. But that shouldn't be vilified because some people need attention. Some people need care. But it's the fact that we are unable, or we have not curated a language amongst each other in order to be able to communicate to that to our friends, to our family, and even openly to the people that we interact with. And ever since I've started to come into alignment with what my emotional needs are, what my social needs are, and I've started to communicate that, like I've just began to, and community has started to feel authentic, my self-esteem has been able to pick itself back up after being like boom, 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 boom. And like even like the whole thing about the YouTube channel is like it's not even like half of it, like it's not. But when you feel like you're constantly being like, your self-esteem constantly is kind of like in the dumps, to take a step and evaluate your needs, evaluate the community around you, and making sure that they can fit those needs, you begin to see the light. This year has been like a really interesting year for me, but with the community that I've began to start to build, I now see worth within myself, and I now feel empowered to do the things that I've always wanted to do. That's going to take time, but if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And I guess I'll end on this provocation and I guess like try to summarize this video and what the point was. But in interrogating self, in finding community, I've been able to find purpose. I hope that's a journey that this video has inspired you to go on. And I hope that with whatever this YouTube channel is going to be, it can be about that. Like it can be about building sense of self and community. Yeah.